Well, Nigeria may face another $2.3 billion fine in arbitration in France over an alleged breach of contract on Mambilla hydroelectric project. Now, this is coming after a British commercial court awarded $9.6 billion against the country in favor of Process and Industrial Development Company in a botched gas processing deal. Let's get more on this fears. Joining me now is public affairs analyst Olaleko Shukoya. Thank you very much for joining me on the news. Talking about this legal action in France now, instituted by a local partner with the federal government on this really controversial Mambilla power project. What's your reaction?
Hello?
Yeah, what's your reaction to this ongoing suit in France, instituted by a local partner, Sunrise, in this controversial Mambilla power project?
Thank you. I think one thing that's becoming obvious from this case also is a reminder that most of the commercial practices of the federal government needs to be looked at, the way, especially when it has to do with large number infrastructural projects, because this is the second case in less than a month that is coming into the limelight of what might go wrong. And then I think it's important to just know that we don't have to politicize infrastructural project or high volume project that is expensive, because in commercial transactions, sometimes some of these things will have repercussions that will go beyond political interest. So if we use political interest to make decisions that are commercial in nature, it will come back to haunt the government, and most of the time it will happen when the government who made these decisions are no longer in power. So but government is continuous, so it will always be a problem. So I think the lesson here is a reminder to people in authority to know that when they are making decisions for infrastructural projects or that involve a lot of money, they have to consider different other things, because otherwise there will be repercussions from these decisions, and then when they are out of power, when they have new people in power, they will have to be left to deal with it. And I think that is one thing that is coming again with this. Right.
Sunrise Power and Transmission Company is accusing the federal government now under President Buhari of sidelining him in this multi-billion-dollar project, the Mambilla Power Project, of course, now saying his company was sidelined and 3 Chinese companies were picked after the government had agreed to do business with him. He said he filed petitions and all that. So talking about this vested interest in his words now, what do you make of that?
Thank you. I think one quick fact that's emerged in this situation is the fact that this project was originally awarded in 2003, and this is 2019. I mean, that's about almost 17 years ago. I mean, that's a long time. So if you look at what has happened between 2003 and 2017, when this contract was re-awarded, the question you want to ask is that what has happened? What has the Sunrise Power and Transmission Company done within that space of time? I mean, from the report I read, they were talking about, oh, they were busy raising capital for this. I mean, what has happened to this capital? What have they done? If it's taken that much, almost 2 decades to actually get this project off the ground, then that means the federal government in this instance might actually have a case to re-award the contract to a different firm, so if they have refused to buy. I have not seen that contract. I don't know the terms of this contract, but just from looking at it from the point of view, what we see is that from the surface is like most likely Sunrise Power will probably have defaulted in the agreement, and then the federal government in this instance will have the right to actually re-award the contract to another company if they've defaulted. But otherwise, I mean, it's litigation. The federal government should not make the same mistake they've made in the past. They should heavily litigate this one and then show up on time to make sure that they make a good case at the international court.
Right, Olaleko Shukoya, thank you very much for your contributions on TVC News.